Good afternoon.
I believe before lunch, when Ms. George was questioning you, she had asked you if you had recently reviewed or viewed the interview video.
Yes.
I'm assuming that's correct.
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. So,
Ma'am, I reviewed the video that she was referencing, not the entire. Over. Okay.
that's fine. I understand. Thank you. Do you recall at the beginning of the interview, Mr. Ferlazzo saying, "I haven't really eaten much and I've been up for days"?
Yes, I do.
And then he followed that up by saying, "My mind isn't right." Do you recall that?
I remember something to that effect, yes.
Okay. Did you or Detective Vorse didn't inquire further as to what he meant by that, did you?
No.
You had no concerns at that point that he might not be able to provide an accurate account of what happened because he was saying at the outset, "My mind isn't right." Is that correct?
Yes.
That was a long question, sorry. And at various points during the interview, Mr. Ferlazzo stated that he was really tired, correct?
I don't know how many times he stated it, but yeah, I know that he stated at least once that he was tired.
Fine, thank you. Do you recall about an hour into the interview, roughly, Mr. Ferlazzo said, "I'm just really tired. I don't know what day it is now. I'm not able to have a clear thought." Do you recall that?
Not specifically, no, I don't.
Okay. Would it help if I showed you the transcript to refresh your recollection?
Sure, yes.
Okay. So I'm going to show you, oh, I haven't marked it, sorry.
They have, it's defendants A.
So I'm going to show you what's been marked as Defendant's Exhibit A, and I'm going to give you the page and the lines where that particular section is located. All right. So, I'm going to show you, this is a transcript of the entire first segment of the interview, and this is page 32, and it's lines 11 through 13, and yeah, that's, take a look at that.
Could you repeat your question?
I just asked if you recall him saying that at that point in the interview. So-
Right, can you reference what he said, what you're asking me?
Sure, sorry about that. So I asked you if you recall about an hour into the interview, Mr. Ferlazzo saying, "I'm just really tired." I believe you also referenced something about falling into a hole, and I don't know what day it excuse me, it is now. I'm not able to have a clear thought.
Yes.
Thank you. And again, looks like there was no concern about resuming the interview, no concern that he wasn't able to provide accurate information. Is that correct?
Correct.
Do you recall, Joseph, at one point, Mr. Ferlazzo was being asked to provide more details about what happened on Friday and early Saturday, and he said all I can remember is like a jumble. It was basically like flashes, like if you go to a disco and look up and there's nothing.
Yes, I do.
Again, that type of jumble and flashes did not concern you as far as the way he was thinking?
Excuse me, it didn't, because before and after, he gave other accounts of the way he was feeling and felt at the time, which made sense to me.
Okay, thank you. About an hour and 10 minutes into the interview, do you recall Mr. Ferlazzo suddenly putting his head down and suddenly asking for water?
I don't.
Okay. At that point, you don't recall that you and Detective Boris, when he put his head down and asked for water, both of you did in fact say, okay, we'll get you some water, and then you left.
I don't remember that, no.
All right. And Detective Truitt came in, so I'm guessing on the video at that point, he was hyperventilating and crying. So you did not witness that, is that accurate?
No.
Okay. And then the questioning resumed roughly 15 minutes, roughly, after that. Correct? It resumed after you.
Yes, it resumed after, yes.
Thank you. You drafted a report detailing the actions that you took on the case between October 19th, 2021 and October 21st, 2021, correct?
Yes.
And in the report, you stated that the interview of Mr. Ferlazzo on the 19th of October 2021 occurred in multiple segments over several hours in various locations within and outside the barracks, correct?
Yes. Yep.
The first segment, I'll just reference it the way you did, that was the initial interview with some breaks, understandably, but the initial interview, which took approximately 2.5 hours, is that accurate?
Yeah.
Let's see, and I think at that point, it looks like, so the interview ended at that point, that segment, at about 5 o'clock. Is that correct?
I mean, I can't confirm that. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, that sounds accurate.
At that point, I think you and Detective Boris left and Mr. Ferlazzo laid down on the floor. Do you recall that?
Yes, I remember him laying down.
Okay. And although we can't tell, it's assumed that he was probably sleeping, but he was laying down on the floor whether he was sleeping or not, correct?
Yes, he was laying down on the floor.
Okay. And then at about 6 or 10 minutes of 6, after he'd been laying on the floor, he was moved to a holding cell, correct?
Yes.
And then the next interaction with Mr. Ferlazzo was approximately 8:10, and I think you and Detective Boris woke him up to see if he was okay, and then at that point took him outside the barracks for a cigarette, correct?
Yes.
And then we brought him back into the holding cell around 8:15 and he laid back down, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And then at about 9:18, you and Detective Boris woke him up again, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I'm confirming that we did wake him up. I can't verify the times, but yes.
Okay, yeah, I'm referring to times if you would like. Yeah, we can always look at it, but, and then you did have at that point, you wanted to ask him a few more things and asked him if he was willing to answer more questions,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
Okay. He was groggy at that point, correct?
No, I wouldn't say groggy.
Okay. As alert as he was previously, or?
Yeah, I would say so.
And you told him again that you had some additional questions. I believe you also gave him the option of going back to the interview room or remaining in the holding cell, correct?
James asked him,
Okay.
gave him the choice.
It's
yeah.
hard. It was hard to tell since that was audio. All right, thank you. And do you recall Joseph responding by stating, "I'm just trying to let my mind rest"?
Yes.
Okay. But at that point, you resumed the questioning, correct?
Yeah.
And I believe that lasted about another 20 minutes, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I have no further questions, thank you.
No redirect, Judge.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're all set.